At the kitchen table across from my boo, she plays new Marshmallow. Gosh, that's deja vu. Oh, what a fable to Medusa the Mallow Man, but she's got too many cards in her hand.
Come on now, let's play some Lorcana. With Pirate Donald Duck, it's a Nirvana. We'll down a Dole Whip floater, two lick popsicles, play red and blue, a smorgasbord of lore, it's Lorcana. Wow.
What a hit.
He was finally back in the studio.
Updating our theme song for us for the new expansion.
Perfect timing, Goofy.
Thank goodness, because there was going to be some confusion about which marshmallow he was talking about.
Oh my gosh, I know.
And now we're going to be all set. He's talking about very specifically, I believe he said the new marshmallow.
Yeah, the new one that's coming out with Ursula's return.
How exciting. S'mores all around. New s'mores all around.
So many marshmallows to go around.
Melt that sucker down and dish out some grams.
Set them ablaze and dish out some grams. Yeah. I'm Katie.
I'm Brett.
And welcome to S'morecana. This is our podcast.
Just another pod.
Where we talk about Lorcana.
Sometimes we talk about snacks.
Sometimes we talk about Lorcana and snacks.
And sometimes we throw in some Disney knowledge.
Sometimes we throw in just some general card game playing knowledge.
It's a little bit of a variety here. It's a panoply of topics that we cover.
Yeah, what's on the menu today?
So we're going to talk about net decking for our appetizer course and all of the feelings that folks might or might not have about net decking. And I think some of the virtues of net decking is what I'd like to talk about.
Yeah, a little spicy appetizer.
And then we'll get into the main course.
Yes, our main course. We're going back to our roots, folks.
It's the Ursula's tentacles in the room.
Yes, yeah. The Ursula's tentacles in the room. We're going to talk about cards from Ursula's return and what Disney snacks they remind us of.
It's our Ursula's Return preview episode.
So exciting. We can't wait.
We have another dream card as ever.
Yes, for our after dinner mint.
So tons to discuss.
In other pod news, our giveaway is going strong. Loud and proud all over the socials.
Oh yeah, lots and lots and lots of entries. As this is releasing, you're going to have a couple of days left to enter. We might extend it a few days because I think we'll probably pull the winner when we record next weekend.
Yeah, we'll make a post when it's, one day left and then when it's all done too, so that people know to stop commenting. I mean, not that they ever need to stop commenting, but they know to stop entering at some point.
If you're listening to this after Ursula's Return has released in local hobby shops, then the giveaway is closed, I would say.
The giveaway is closed and we are MIA. And the MIAs were playing Lorcana.
All the time.
All day.
With new
all
cards.
The time, yes.
But if you are listening to this before Ursula's Return releases, you can go on to any of your social media platforms and enter to win a Rapunzel pin and or a Pooh pin for free.
Yes, we'll be spinning two virtual wheels with everyone's names on them that entered for each pin. So
good old wheelofnames.com.
Yes, so you got two chances. You got a chance at a Rapunzel pin. If you don't get that, you got a chance at a Pooh pin, or the other way around. Two chances.
In other news, Katie, how was your Princess and the Pauper format tournament?
Yes. So last pod, we talked about you going to the Princess and the Pauper tournament. There was another one this week. We both got to go to it, which was awesome. It was so much fun. You brewed for me a Belle Strange but special deck. I was wildly busy this week, so I didn't have any time to make a deck, but you were sending me pictures of it as it was progressing through its different forms and such. And it was a blast.
Just to recap really quickly, this was a format that our local store manager, Rob, invented, and you can choose one princess of any rarity. You can have 4 copies of that card, and then every other card has to be a common or uncommon and cannot be a prince or a princess.
Yeah, it was a really fun deck. I loved getting to see all the other common and uncommon cards that people were playing that you never see. In my first matchup, actually, I was playing against Johnny, who we've seen at a couple of our local Lorcana events, and he was using Prince Charming, the 3/3 that quests for 3. And we had almost identical decks besides that. Because there's only so many like great common and uncommons that you want in like a really strong deck. We both had Develop Your Brain. We both had a lot of other like duplicates.
Did he have Pacha?
He did not have Pacha.
Well, okay then.
He also didn't have Triton.
Well,
so
okay then.
My deck still pretty much slapped. I did lose, but I pretty much slapped. No, it was so much fun. It was just a blast to hang out with people and play some really goofy decks. You were also there, as I said. You brought 2 decks.
I did.
To this. Now, this was like, dear listener, this was a 0 stakes kind of an event. It was easy to be a little bit silly with the formatting because you let your opponents choose which deck they wanted to play against.
Yeah, so it was a no entry fee and no prizing. This was a tournament format, but it was entirely for fun. It was really specifically made to be a palate cleanse from set championships. So the pressure was non-existent. Given that I was having a little fun, I brought a Rapunzel list, Amber Ruby, and I brought a Prince John Lemon Lime discard deck. Now, the week before, last week, I had brought the Rapunzel list, and I knew it to be very, very strong. I would guess, I mean, there's not a lot of information about this format, but having looked at all of the options, I think you'd be really hard-pressed to find a better list in the format than Amber Ruby with Rapunzel. That felt super, super strong. And then the Prince John list was really, really fun. I didn't have a single character that had more than 2 strength, but I could nuke my opponent's hand. So it was really fun trying to grind those games out. But yeah, a few of my opponents, I just, rolled a die and said, evens is Rapunzel and odds is Prince John. So it was really fun.
So cool. That Prince John deck was awesome. Prince John, to me, is such a wildly underrated card anyways. And I don't ever think of him as a prince because he's so fake about it that I forget that he's actually a prince. I thought that was really cool. Really nice.
Yeah, I had a good time. It was a really fun event. Shout out to the whole Diversions crew.
We love them. I am getting a bit hungry.
Yeah, we've been chatting a bunch here. Let's,
yes.
What do you say we move on to the appetizer course?
Okay. Hello.
Oh, hi Helga. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. Good to see you.
It's nice. It's nice to see you too. Yes. You want food now?
Yeah. I think we're ready for that appetizer.
Appetizer. Oh yes. Hold on. I'll go get it. She forgot the appetizer.
Oh my goodness. She seems a little flustered. Something's going on with her. I'm not sure what's up. She seemed a little distracted.
Hello. I'm back.
Hi Helga.
I brought you your appetizer. It is a mixed medley of net decking.
Thank you.
This is what you asked for.
Yeah, that's delicious. Thank you.
Sir?
Yeah.
I want to apologize.
It's okay. You don't have to apologize.
I'm distracted. No, Helga is distracted today.
Oh, Helga, it's all right.
It's embarrassing.
I thought maybe something was bothering you, but I hope you're okay.
I should not trouble you for this.
Okay, whatever you want.
There's a man.
Oh, yeah?
And he's distracting. Enjoy your food. What was that about?
I don't know. Oh my goodness.
Poor Helga. I've never seen her like that before.
I know. She's usually so efficient.
I know, yeah. She's always on top of it.
She's a little scattered.
She didn't even remember to bring the appetizer.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on. Something about
Weird.
A man, some kind of guy
Isn't
trouble.
It always? So she said you brought net decking?
Yeah.
Tell us about this, Brett.
Oh, interesting. So this here, it seems to be a pile of informational pamphlets about net decking. Very interesting.
Oh, she brought us pamphlets to eat.
Yeah, I think
she is a little off, huh?
It's food for the brain.
Yes. That makes sense. So what's net decking, Brett?
So net decking is a subject that comes up particularly in regards to new players joining the game and looking for ways into the community to get better. And it can be the subject of some controversy, and people have different feelings about it.
Okay.
So this is prompted. I wanted to talk about this because it kind of came up in our local shop. We have a couple of players who are like opposed to net decking, to looking up decks online and then using whatever the best deck is in an event.
Sure.
got my wheels turning, and it's something I wanted to talk about on the pod because I'm sure there are new players out there who might be feeling similarly or might be feeling the opposite way, and they're wondering about, what the, I don't know, morality or like what the customary way to approach net decking is in TCGs.
I get it. I mean, it's something that I've felt that way before, especially at all the set championships we had and all that jazz, when it feels like everyone's just playing the same kind of stuff and you're like, I should just make something totally new. I shouldn't look at the meta at all.
Yeah, it can be a subject of pride. And also I think we're kind of trained to, celebrate like individualism and like you want to be able to pull yourself up and,
Right. I made this deck myself.
Yeah, exactly. But I wanted to kind of check some of that thought and basically say that there is no shame in net decking, and indeed it's something that should be encouraged. So just as a baseline, if you're building a deck for the first time, it's a new list that you've concocted yourself, the chances that that deck will be able to compete with a quote-unquote meta deck is minuscule. And there's no shame in that. When you make a deck yourself, you're competing against hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of players across thousands and thousands of games across the whole world and all of the data that accumulates, right? So you shouldn't worry if your homebrew isn't standing up to that.
Sure. Yeah. Of course it won't, because this other one's been tried by so many people. That makes sense.
Right. And that's why I think alternative formats definitely help, right? If you have a format that hasn't been run a lot across the world, then every deck is going to be new. And so everybody's on the same footing.
Right. Which is what was so cool about the Princess and the Pauper.
Right. So I think it's helpful overall to think about TCGs as a craft rather than an art, Now, we happen to be professional artists, right? We are work in theater. We make art for a living and have done for over a decade at this point. And so we understand the desire to be creative and to celebrate an art. But building a deck is not an art. It is a craft.
Yeah. And I find it very easy to get caught up in this mindset too, because so many of the cards, especially in this game, are linked together thematically that like you feel like, oh, well, of course, this person should go in this deck with this person. And like, of course, I should put 4 Poos and 4 Eeyores in a deck together with 4 Piglets because they all belong together. And that looks so good. And it's so cute. And like, it all works with the storyline I have in my head. But it's not a story-driven game.
Sure. And this kind of goes back to what we talked about in our episode about synergy, right? That oftentimes when you're building a deck early on in your deck building career, you'll prioritize synergy and story over efficiency. And, then maybe wonder why your deck isn't as strong, even though it seems so synergistic. You've sacrificed a lot of efficiency.
Yeah, exactly.
And that efficiency comes from, again, global knowledge. You have thousands and thousands of people trying to do the same thing. They're all trying to make the best Lorcana deck. And when you have iteration and knowledge flying across the world at scale, then that's the quickest way to finding the best deck, not you sitting alone, right?
Right.
And that's not to say that innovation isn't important, right? And that sparks of creativity aren't going to change the direction of the game, because they certainly do. But even the best player sitting down and making a new deck is going to, might have success with that deck, but then is going to incorporate knowledge from other players and from their experiences to make the deck better and better and better.
Yeah, definitely.
So there's no shame in playing that meta deck.
Yeah, I don't think there's any shame in it. I mean, there's also, I feel like with Lorcana, there's so many meta decks that it's not that everyone's playing the same 2 decks. There's usually like 6 decks that most people are playing that can kind of get shuffled around.
Sure, we've been really lucky.
You can still, find some decks that aren't as played as others. You don't need to bring your Steel Song deck to everything. You can bring a little popsicle. You can bring a little flavor into the meta decks.
Yeah, of course. And I think that for our new players, not only is there no shame in playing a meta deck, but I would actively encourage you to play a meta deck.
Yeah.
Because when you play a deck that is efficient, that has been iterated upon, you're going to understand what playing a really good deck feels like.
Right. And I feel like the games you play against other meta decks with a meta deck have to be that much better.
Of course, yeah. Then you can start to understand the ebbs and flows of higher levels of gameplay.
Right.
It's like, imagine somebody wants to be a famous chef.
Sure, don't we all?
And don't we all? But if you want to be a famous chef and you want to try all of these unheard of flavor combinations and plating arrangements, and you want the design of your restaurant to be something completely original, and you want an experience that folks haven't had before, right?
Yes.
But imagine that same chef never eating at restaurants themselves.
Right.
And not knowing what's out there, right? Not knowing what other folks have already invented, right? Not knowing what the trends are and what people want from their restaurant experience, right? So when you're building a deck, think of it this way, right? Like, there is this global community who is going to offer you a ton of knowledge. And then if you can absorb that, your own creativity will have a much stronger foundation. You'll be able to find those unique twists on existing decks, right? Or mash two different themes together. Or be better able to analyze what cards might fit or not fit in a pre-existing meta deck when a new expansion releases.
Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it. I mean, if you're a chef and you've never had pizza and you're trying to become a chef, like, you can learn so much from having a slice of pizza about how flavors work together and what's successful and stuff. That makes a lot of sense. I like that analogy.
Right. Meta decks are the foundational knowledge that will help you further your TCG career. And again, I don't want to stifle your creativity. That is my favorite part of playing TCGs, is that you can come up with your own deck and do well with it, or use a little known card and resurrect it, or change people's perspective on the way a color combination is played. But if you're going to make all of that happen, then you need to have that experience with what's come before, with the foundational knowledge of TCGs and with Lorcana.
Yeah, I love that. Respect your ancestors. Respect the meta.
Yeah, let it help you. Let meta decks help you. And honestly, the more folks do that, then the better you're going to be, because it's definitely a feedback loop, right? Like, you've all been to those kinds of local scenes where nobody does net deck, and then so the one person who might come in with a net deck just destroys everybody, and that's no fun.
Right.
So whereas if everybody had brought a meta deck and everybody learns and makes each other better for a while, then the person who finds the next iteration has an advantage, and that's way more fulfilling, right? Because now everybody's a better player, and you've contributed to the furtherance of what the meta even is.
Yeah, love it. Awesome. Net decking.
Yeah, just a quick little bite on the how we feel about net decking on some Lorcana before we get into the main course.
Yeah, a little bread course.
Excusez-moi, madame.
Oh, yes, Francois?
Comment ça va?
I'm doing well. Thanks. How are you?
You're doing all right?
Yeah.
Have you seen Helga?
Yes, Francois. Actually, we have seen Helga.
Did she
have
seem...
you seen Helga?
I have not seen her in some time. I was inquiring if she seemed all right to you.
Yeah, I mean, she seemed a little bit distracted, honestly, to us.
Huh.
She said it was about a man.
This is very distressing to me. Let her know that she is in my thoughts if you see her, and I will bring your main course. I believe she is unable to at the moment, so I will bring your main course shortly.
Huh. Interesting.
Here is your dinner, madame. Monsieur.
Thank you. Hey, what happened with you and Helga? Can you tell us about it?
It is not something that happened to me and to Helga. She just simply seemed a bit distracted tonight, and so I was a bit concerned, but it is nothing that you need to worry about, madame.
Okay, so you were just, like, as a friend, you were just checking in on her.
Of course, as a coworker. Enjoy your entrée, madame et monsieur.
You picking up what I'm picking up?
No.
I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. Never mind.
Okay.
Francois, that's fine.
Okay.
We got our main course.
Yeah, main course looks good.
Ooh.
Six colored main course.
Yummy, 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 yummy.
Look
Which
at
one
this.
should we open up first? Which colored dome should we open to
Ooh.
reveal the snacks below?
I say we go right in traditional Lorcana order.
Alphabetical.
Yeah, amber, baby.
Amber.
So we each picked a single card from each color,
Yes.
and we're going to then maybe talk about some general thoughts about the color quickly.
Yeah, right.
We could easily spend the next, 72 hours pre-Ursula's return release talking about every single card, but I don't think anybody would want to listen to that.
Yeah, and these are not necessarily the cards that we think are the best or the worst or any kind of superlative necessarily. They stuck out to us as relating to some kind of a Disney snack, which we'll explain.
And there was something that we were excited generally to talk about, for good or for ill.
Yes, exactly. Mostly for good. All right, what's your first card here? What's your amber selection, Brett?
All right, I want to talk about Julieta Madrigal.
Ooh.
So Julieta Madrigal reminds me of going to the Yak and Yeti quick serve window.
Yum.
So Yak and Yeti is my favorite restaurant at Disney's Animal Kingdom. It is a Southeast Asian inspired food. It is absolutely delicious. I love it there. I want to eat everything on the menu always. And that's a full sit-down restaurant. But right next door, you can go to the quick serve window and get a lot of items from their full menu. And it's still really, really good, if not the full experience.
Yeah, you get like some bomb rice and chicken, and you just feel like $1,000,000.
Yeah. So Julieta reminds me of that quick serve window as if Rapunzel was the full Yak and Yeti restaurant, right? She's like Rapunzel Light. You've got...
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and she's not a $35 legendary. So that's pretty cool. But if you're looking for some extra healing that will turn into card draw, I mean, she's great. So Julieta Madrigal is a 3-cost, 1/4 inkable. When you play her, you can remove up to 2 damage from a character, and if you do, you can draw a card.
Nice.
So she's like a mini Rapunzel. You also, in a pinch, could heal your opponent's character to draw a card.
Ooh.
But she's only an uncommon. That's what's great.
Yeah, she kind of rocks.
Yeah, she's really, really good. Really, really good. And I think there are going to be certain decks like Amber Ruby with some of these characters that enter with damage on them. You might want to run her with Rapunzel.
Yeah, also like beautifully themed. Similarly to Rapunzel, how Rapunzel's healing is so themed.
And we have to talk about her because she uses food to heal people. And if we aren't trying to use food metaphors to heal the planet on Smorkana, then what are we doing?
What are we even doing here?
How about you? Do you have an Amber card that you wanted to highlight?
Yes. My Amber card that I would like to highlight is Mickey Mouse, Musketeer Captain.
Oh, yeah.
I am so excited about him. He is huge. In the art, he looks like he's roughly 20 feet tall.
He looks like he's leading the French Revolution.
He's incredible. So because of how big he is in stature and in beef, he made me think of the appetizers that you get at Tony's Town Square restaurant. So when you go into Main Street USA, we've talked about Tony's before. It's a restaurant that's on your right, often looked over, but it's so good. We love Tony's. Tony's is so cute, and when they bring out appetizers to you, they're huge. Like the biggest things you've ever seen. We ordered garlic bread one time. Do you remember this?
Yeah, it was like a mountain.
And it was like half of a loaf of French bread covered in butter and cheese. It was amazing, but it was so huge. And that's how my gut feels about this Mickey Mouse. Whenever I look at him, he just looks like he's an absolute giant kind of monstrosity, but not in a bad way. But he's huge. He is an uninkable 7 cost. He's a 3/6, a legendary card. He quests for 2. He has shift 5. He has bodyguard and support. His ability is Musketeers United. When you play this character, if you use shift to play him, you may draw a card for each character with bodyguard you have in play. So he's a little clunky. He's about as clunky as it is when you eat an entire plate of garlic bread at Tony's. He just has a lot of pieces that have to work together for him. So I don't really know how much faith I have in this card as being like an incredible card going forward, but I do like him a lot.
He's very, very thematic.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
And I also love, like, story-wise, how big he looks in this card, because a lot of the plot in The Three Musketeers is that he's too tiny to be a musketeer. So I just really like the angle of this from, you're almost looking at him from the ground up at how big and strong he is. It's really cool.
He's a floodborn, so it's like the ink hit him and he grew to be 20 feet tall.
Yeah, exactly. He's very cool.
Also, Mickey Mouse was spoiled by, or revealed, I should say, by Lorcana Villain, who is one of our favorite content creators.
Yes, we love Lorcana Villain.
We've often talked about Lorcana Villain being our number one must-have guest on this podcast because he is such a fan of musical theater and has a background in musical theater.
Yeah, and so do we.
So we would have a lot to discuss.
Yes. But yeah, that one stuck out to me. Let's talk about our general thoughts on All of Amber.
Yeah, so lots of types, right? Lots of characteristics. You've got the Musketeers, you've got the Madrigals, you've got lots of singers. Those all kind of seem like they slot together into very specific archetypes. Lemon Lime Discard should be interesting with the Ursula that has it's like a bare necessities on a stick. She basically casts bare necessities when you quest with her.
Yeah, it's exciting to have a little glimmer of hope for any of the Musketeer cards actually being used in a deck, you know, and working together and making some kind of sense is exciting.
Yeah, totally. I'm also, you know, as a Mufasa enjoyer, I am very, very excited for what Amber Ruby is going to look like moving forward with some of those self-damaging characters.
Yes.
So you've got the new one-drop Mulan in Ruby who damages herself, and the new Beast as well. So you combine that with Julieta and Rapunzel, and you've got the makings of a strong deck already. Yeah,
I love Ruby. That's my new set resolution, I think, is to play more decks with Ruby in it. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's move on to the next color here. Amethyst!
Yeah, what have you got for an amethyst card?
Okay. Are you buckled in?
I'm strapped in. I'm ready to go.
Are you ready for this?
I'm so ready.
My selection for the amethyst card is Belle Accomplished Mystic. Now, I don't want to sound like a broken record here. I do like Belle and blah, blah, blah. But I think even if I didn't like Belle and blah, 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 this card is crazy. Look at her. She's a sorcerer. What? And a hero. And a princess. And she's floodborn. Good afternoon. Put her in a broom deck. That's all I'm saying. She's amazing. The snack she reminds me of is a very, very, very specific snack. So, in the Disneyland Resort, if you go to the end of the street and you end at the end of Main Street, on your left is where the ice cream parlor is. In Disney World, that's Casey's. In Disneyland, it's on your left. You can get a Dalmatian sundae. The Dalmatian sundae is kind of themed after the Main Street fire station, right? This Dalmatian sundae is the best ice cream sundae I've ever had in my life, and I think about it all the time. It is a waffle cone bowl with hot fudge, mint chocolate chip ice cream, a warm brownie, whipped cream, and a cherry on top. Hello? Good afternoon. I dream about this snack. I think about it all the time.
Just like you're going to dream about Belle Accomplished Mystic?
Yes, they're the same because she's perfect. You look at her, you can't forget it. You go, I have to put that in every single deck that I have. Just like that sundae, you go, I have to have this every single time I possibly can because I'll never have anything like this ever again. I feel that Belle is peaked. This might be the peak.
Holy cow.
That's how I'm feeling right now.
Wow.
Come at me. That snack is the peak of ice cream.
You're going to fight people over Belle Accomplished Mystic, aren't you?
Yep.
You're just going to pick fights, and anybody who says that she isn't the best card in Lorcana is going to get it.
Anybody that says she isn't the best card in Lorcana, look into her eyes. Go ahead. Amazing. Amazing.
This art is unreal. This vortex of rose petals.
Where's my Belle Accomplished Mystic playmat?
Oh.
Maybe it's coming.
I wish that I had a video of, I mean, we're sitting on the couch and I was, scrolling and this was revealed and I just showed my phone to you. And I wish I had a video of your face when you saw this card.
Yeah,
I mean,
perfect.
It was like your eyes went wide, your mouth opened up. It was like you won the lottery or something.
I mean, to go on a tangent for a minute, this is the beauty of Lorcana, right? It's your favorite shows, your favorite IP and all that jazz, and it's like continually being reborn and remade. Like that Belle art looks just like she does in the movie. Like, and that's crazy, that she's been reborn in a cool way that like was just made a couple months ago, a year ago, whatever. Like that kind of art, the fact that it lives on like that and is like licensed by real Disney and isn't like people just making it up to be whatever they want, which is cool on its own, but it's just like, oh, it's so cool. It gets me a little choked up. It's so cool. I love it.
It looks like the character from the movie, but it's completely reimagined too, right? Like we've never seen Belle like this.
It's very cool.
In an official capacity.
I love it.
So it's really, really cool. What does Belle even do? You didn't even say what she does.
I got too excited. She's a 5-cost Inkable. She's a 4/4. She is, like I said, Floodborn Hero, Princess Sorcerer. She's a Shift 3, which is exciting. So you can play her on top of a tiny Belle or a different Belle or whatever. She has the ability Enhanced Healing. When you play this character, move up to 3 damage counters from chosen character to chosen opposing character. So if you have a beast that's really hunked on some damage, she can toss that off of him onto somebody else. She quests for 2, and her flavor text says, the mixed ink had changed more than just the rose. That's right. Look at her. Look at what that mixed ink changed. Woo!
She's awesome.
And I just, like, I could go on and on. I don't want to take up too much time. But she's, like, in her Village Belle outfit. But it's just been plussed up. Like, I don't need to see Belle in armor. I don't need to see Belle in anything crazy. I need this little flavor. I could go on forever. Anyways.
And, yeah, I mean, in terms of the art direction, obviously it's incredible. And then in terms of gameplay ramifications, she's very, very, very strong.
Yeah, she rocks. She straight up rocks. She can do 3 damage to anything you want and heal your stuff. Like, come on. Or do 1 damage and heal 1 thing. Like, it just,
She works so well with Beast, too.
Yes, that's what I was saying. Like, you can take it off of Prince Adam and put it on somebody else.
Yeah.
The best.
And it ties in. It seems like there's this storyline where like the Beast is injured and Belle is trying to use her sorceress powers to heal the Beast, which is so cool.
It's so cool. Sorcerer, put poo in this deck. Come on, let's go.
I'm thinking that there might be an update to your Ruby Amethyst list that has Mulan and Beast and this Belle.
Don't even get me started on Mulan. We're not there yet. Okay, what's your Amethyst pick?
So my Amethyst highlight here is Isabella Madrigal.
Yes, Isabella.
Bring it in, bring it in.
Bring it in, bring it in.
So, not to keep harping on Madrigal cards, but just so kind of fell out this way because a lot of them are in Amber and Amethyst, and a lot of them are pretty cool.
They're awesome.
Isabella Madrigal is a 5-cost Inkable 3/4, quests for 1. She is a Storyborn ally and a Madrigal. She has Evasive, and she has the ability Ladies First. During your turn, if no other character has quested this turn, this character gets +3 lore. She gets 4 lore if no other characters have quested. But then there's Leave It to Me, the little bit of a drawback. Whenever this character quests, your other characters can't quest for the rest of this turn.
Yeah.
So basically, she's your quester.
Yeah, she's a tricky one. She's cool.
She reminds me of the Sushi Donut in Epcot's Festival of the Arts.
Yes.
So if you go to the little kiosk in the Japan Pavilion in the World Showcase, they will serve you a sushi donut, which is like rice in a circle, and it has a bunch of different types of sushi layered on top of it.
Yum.
It looks beautiful, and it's also it's a beautiful snack that can sustain you in lieu of a full lunch or dinner.
Yeah, it's awesome. I think that's a great choice.
So again, with Isabella, we have this beautiful card that can do everything herself. She can quest and lock down all of your questing for the turn without need for a full accompaniment of other characters.
I love that. She don't need anybody else.
Yeah.
You don't need any other side dishes.
Isabella, the sushi donut of Ursula's Return.
Which is interesting, I will say, because it seems like so many of the Madrigals work better together. that it's interesting that she works so well alone, which also fits, story-wise for the Madrigals, right? Is that they can do it all alone, but they're better when they're together. So it's interesting.
And there's some cool ways around this too, right? Like if you use the Bruno, which is another card that I absolutely love, the Bruno that reveals the top card, and if you get it right, if you get your guess right, you get 3 lore. I love that card, and she works great with Bruno because Bruno can gain you the 3 lore and is another evasive without questing.
Right.
So a Bruno hit and an Isabella quest in one turn is 7 lore.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So I love Isabella. I think she's really cool, really thematic, and I think that the drawback doesn't come into play in close games. Like if you have a bunch of characters that are all questing turn after turn, then you won the game.
Right.
So Isabella basically says, let me handle your questing. Let me get you a huge chunk of lore, and then you can let all of your other characters sing songs and challenge and use their abilities, et cetera, et cetera. So I think she's really, really strong. I think she's definitely going to see some play. I think that her stat line is really, really strong. I mean, she's almost the same stat line as Goofy, right? Goofy is a 3/4 that quests for 2 for 5, right? Goofy Daredevil.
Yeah.
So she's just 1 less lore as a baseline, but with the upside of being able to quest for 4 under certain circumstances.
Yeah, love her.
Really, really good.
Overall, how are you feeling about Amethyst?
I think Amethyst got some really, really cool cards. I mean, the Brooms is something that we didn't really discuss, but there's a lot of new Brooms, obviously. You've got Yensid, who's a very, very strong card.
Oh my gosh, archetype. I know. I almost picked him.
We got a 1-cost Broom, which is amazing.
The Brooms forever. We got all the Madrigals, Bruno, Peppa. We got Elsa in there.
There's a really strong Elsa. That Elsa that exerts to give a character Russian Challenger 2 is really, really great to see. It's nice to see like a good, cheap, strong Elsa that I think will also see play. I also want to highlight Peppa Madrigal.
Yeah.
Because those effects are hard to come by. She is a 1/5, cost 5, uninkable. When you play her, she exerts a character and that character can't ready. So it's like half of a big Elsa freeze, a freeze effect, if you will. And the Broom that does the same thing costs 1 more and requires a sorcerer to be in play. And obviously Elsa costs 3 more. So I enjoy those effects. I think that they're really, really, really strong. And I think if you can bounce Peppa and be replaying that freeze effect every turn, she could be a really, really strong card and drive a deck by herself.
Yeah, definitely.
Ursula is also awesome, the title character of the set. She's got back.
Oh my god, I know.
Not
Does
Ursula.
she ever have back? Woo! She also is getting some we're getting some more eel cards.
Don't say that too loudly because we don't want.
It's
I've
pretty
had
cool.
enough of Ahmed Toby talking about eels for a while.
I don't think he's working today, but just in case. Also, as a side note for all of Amethyst, what is happening with Magical Maid? Can we talk about this for a hot second?
The Feather Duster.
Yes, so the Feather Duster from Beauty and the Beast. Yes, known as Fifi in the movie, known as Babette on Broadway. It's just either of those names, fine. In the live action, they called her Plumette. She always has a name. And for some reason, in this incredible game, which is so good at the deep cuts and so good at knowing all the stuff and the quotes and the things and the arts, and it's so good, it's such good fan service, they name her Magical Maid.
What in the world? Now, here's a question. Here, we're playing a game that's based on drawing and ink and things coming to life through animation. Now, don't you think they would have gone with the name that they used in the animated Beauty and the Beast?
Yes, it has to be a mistake. All I can think is that it has to be a mistake.
That they didn't know the character's name was Fifi.
I guess, right?
Or /Babette /
Because
Plumette.
why would you? It would be like instead of writing the Beast, you'd be like Scary Bear Man. You know what I mean? It's like, what? Also, Magical Maid? Like, she's not magical. She just is under a spell.
She
doesn't have magic powers. Like, what are you talking about? So I'm so mad about it. I bet we're going to get 5. I'm so mad about her.
So yeah, I think Amethyst overall though, like some really cool type stuff like brooms and eels and madrigals for sure. You've got some power cards like Ursula's going to be strong and see some play, I'm sure. Other than that, I think that they're kind of middle of the road. I don't think that there's a ton that stands out in terms of being especially strong in Amethyst, but Amethyst was already super strong. What do you say we move on to Emerald?
Let's do it.
What have you got for an Emerald card?
Well, I chose Gus, Champion of Cheese. Gus, Champion of Cheese is a 2-cost inkable, 2/3, quest for 1. He's totally blank. His flavor text says, you can always rely on him when it comes to cheese. He does nothing else, but we had to choose him. I mean, I had to choose him. One of us had to choose him because we are Smorkana. And look at all that cheese he's eating.
He's a champion of cheese, not a connoisseur, not an enjoyer.
Nope.
Not a hoarder of cheese.
Nope. A champion. And amen to that, Gus Gus. So he reminded me of the cheese stick that you can buy at Disney's California Adventure at Corn Dog Castle. So this is like, as many of our listeners may know, Disneyland has corn dogs on a stick. They also have a cheese version of that, which is just a stick of like cheddar cheese that they batter and deep fry. Now, if you can eat that stick of cheese and continue on about your Disneyland day, then I think you can confidently say that you are a champion of cheese. I think Gus Gus could do it. I think anyone could. You know? I love Gus.
You think anybody could do it?
I think anyone could do it.
Anybody who's a champion of cheese.
Yeah, right. Like Gus.
But if you're not a champion, I mean, I don't think anybody, I couldn't do it.
I hate to tell you this. You're not a champion of cheese.
So this is my point, right? Is like, it's a high status thing to be a champion of cheese like Gus and to be able to eat that much cheese in Disneyland.
Yes, definitely. What about you? What'd you pick for your Emerald card?
Mine's not so cheesy. Mine's maybe a little spicy though.
Ooh, okay.
This card reminds me of whatever amalgamation of spices they put on the chicken at Tusker House.
Oh, dang.
There's like some kind of spice rub that they use, and I haven't had any kind of rub that tastes like that. It's so specific and it's so good.
Wow.
And it's just very memorable to me.
Yeah.
And so I chose for my Emerald card, Dodge.
Ooh, Dodge is so cool.
Yeah. So now this is not a card that does anything by itself, which normally isn't a great recipe for success in a TCG. It's very reliant on other cards to take advantage of it.
Sure.
It is a 2-cost inkable action that says chosen character gains ward and evasive until the start of your next turn. So by itself, nothing, right? You need a character that makes this worthwhile.
Right.
But the reason I think this is spicy is because I think that this could be the memorable, lasting piece of a combo deck.
Oh.
When I think of a deck like Beast Relentless,
Yep.
I think about this card and how it could be the missing link. Right? Because one of the reasons that combo never really took off is because you can just remove the beast, right? If you are able to Mother Knows Best or Be Prepared or Along Came Zeus or whatever, your relentless beast, then the combo won't fire. You just need your beast to live for a turn generally.
Right.
So I think that Dodge is like that last little spicy bit, you know, keep your beast safe for an extra turn. Or maybe it's like your Jafar that you just need to keep safe for an extra turn. Some of these characters that need to live for a turn before their effect goes into play could really use this card. Now, it would have to be something that's game winning.
Sure.
Right? It can't just be like, oh, I want to keep this character alive so they can like quest for 2 next turn. No. That's a waste of a card.
Yeah, right.
But if it's, I'm going to play Beast Relentless and then throw Dodge on them so that next turn I know he'll be around for Bayou and Sheriff of Nottingham, then all of a sudden the Dodge becomes the missing piece, the thing you needed to take your combo deck over the top.
I love that. Dodge was a card that had escaped me as existing until we were looking at these today. And I saw it because obviously I noticed Donald Duck and I was like, whoa, that card might actually be kind of good. I thought about picking it for this too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't honestly think that it's going to see play. I don't. I don't think it's a great card, but it is the kind of card that is I think is really well designed because it could see play in the right deck, and in that deck it would be really good, and it could be a key piece. And I love the art. I love Donald leaping over this cannonball. It's really cool.
It's so cute.
It's just really it's a unique effect in the game, and so I wanted to give it a shout out.
I love that. Overall, Emerald's looking pretty cool.
Yeah, some really cool stuff, some really cool tech. I do think it's kind of like top loaded in that its good cards are really good, and then there's some its middle and lower tier cards are unlikely to see a ton of competitive play.
Yeah, it has some surprising cards like Dodge, like the Muses, which I just noticed today too, that seem like a really powerful card.
Yeah, Muses are going to be strong. Both of the Pegasi are going to be good.
Yeah, there's a little baby Pegasus.
Very strong.
Love him. Under the Sea, we don't talk about Bruno, some sing together songs. Really fun.
Yeah, really good stuff. Diablo is going to be cool, the legendary.
Yes, Diablo.
I'm excited. My pet deck is still Emerald Ruby Airfoil, and there are a few cards that certainly slot into that deck. Diablo being one of them. Dodge potentially being one of them for some of the questers, some of the big questers. And just to be another inkable action in that deck can be really, really good.
Oof, I'm getting all excited. I want to play with these right now.
I know.
Oh, man. Okay, let's move on to another portion of our dish here. Let's reveal this next tray.
Ugh.
Ooh, it's Ruby.
Ugh.
Brett, what'd you pick for a Ruby card? You seem disgusted by this dish.
So
what is it?
In card form, I'm looking at, the cardboard equivalent of a macaroni and cheese topped hot dog from Casey's.
Oh, I love those.
I don't want that. I don't want it. I don't want it.
It sounds like your nightmare. If I was picking out one food that you really hated, it would be that.
Yeah, I don't like either hot dogs or macaroni and cheese enough to want both of them together, like one on top of the other. And I just think of the hot mess I would make upon myself at Disney World.
Make upon myself.
And when I look at this card, that's what I think of.
Yeah, hot mess upon yourself. Yeah.
I'm talking about Noi Acrobatic Baby.
I mean, I think we knew it had to be Noi.
I can't stand Noi in any form.
Yeah.
If you were to just excise Noi from Raya, I think I would like that movie twice as much as I do.
I know you would.
I can't stand that character. It feels like a weird Despicable Me, knockoff thing that they were I guess animated babies that can do more than you think they would do is really in, so now we need one. I don't know. I hated Noi in Raya. Just absolute loathing for that character.
I know.
It just didn't make any sense, and it felt totally incongruous with the rest of the movie. I really liked a lot of that movie. And when Noi came around, it just
she makes you crazy.
Oh my God.
You're
I can't
crazy
stand
in your
it.
eyes.
And here's the icing on the cake is so we're just talking about that Emerald Ruby deck, the airfoil deck that uses all these actions and is really fun. And I'm like, God, this card is perfect. She's perfect for that deck. She's good, the cost slot you want and the stats that you want, and it's an ability that you want. And I'm like, oh my God, couldn't it be literally any other character than Noi?
You're going to play her. You're going to play her a lot.
I'm going to have to play Noi. I'm going to Sharpie the ever-loving everything out of Noi. I'm going to I'm going to just completely blot out anything that is her. I can't stand it. Oh my God.
Yeah, she's looking at you right now. Look at her.
Oh man.
Just staring at you ready with her baby skills.
Oh man, I can't. For the record, I mean, we should say what this card does, I guess. She's a 4-cost 4/4. She quests for 1. Whenever you play an action, this character takes no damage from challenges this turn. So you play an action, you can challenge, and then she doesn't take damage. Great.
And
amazing.
She's super rare. She's going to be tough to get.
Fortune favors the bold, no matter how small. And she gets this stupid, pretentious flavor text at the bottom. This is a travesty. This disgusts me. I am upset.
Oh my God.
I really, 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 I am chagrined at the lost opportunity to make a really compelling card in Lorcana. Instead, we have to suffer through this stupid baby until she rotates out and I can finally burn all of her copies.
I'm so sorry that you had to see that card. So sorry that it got revealed to you.
I'm out of breath. I can't talk anymore. Can you do yours?
Yes, I would like to talk about a card that I'm so excited for. I think everybody in the world is excited for this card. This is Mulan, Elite Archer. Like, come through good Mulan cards. Thank the Lord. Thank you, Walter Disney, because she's so good. She's a 6-cost inkable, 2/6, Floodborn, hero, princess. She's like on fire. Literally, in the picture. She has 2 abilities. The first one is Straight Shooter. When you play this character, if you used Shift to play her, she gets +3 attack this turn. Baller. So she could be a 5/6. Triple Shot. During your turn, whenever this character deals damage to another character in a challenge, deal the same amount of damage to up to 2 other chosen characters. Like, what? So if she has been shifted and she's now dealing 5 damage, you deal 5 damage to somebody else. And then she deals 5 damage to 2 other characters, too. Like, that's 15 damage just from her. And to remind you, she's a 6-cost inkable. This card makes me feel like I could punch a hole in a wall out of excitement. The same way that a Mickey Mouse waffle in a morning before you go into Disney World feels. When you eat a Mickey Mouse waffle, and I'm talking like a perfect Mickey Mouse waffle, you put that thing on a bounty platter. You've got eggs, you've got sausages and bacon and a fruit cup, and you put a little bit of syrup on that thing. You got your resort refillable mug filled with Pog juice. You eat all that, you're going to Disney World, you could punch a hole through an ever-loving wall. And that's how I feel about this card.
She is so, so cool.
She rocks the socks.
I don't think anybody's looked uncool firing 3 arrows at once.
No, but she looks very cool.
It's a surefire way to be like, this character's very cool. They're firing 3 arrows at the same time. Hello,
3
Legolas.
arrows that are on fire at the same time.
She looks awesome. And you don't even have to use that shift ability to get value. There are so many ways to bump her strength up. Like if you have a crab on the board and you just like bump it into something on the other side, and all of a sudden she's got Challenger 3, or there's the new medallions, the weight training medallions in Ruby, the item that can give her 2 extra strength that way. There's just a ton of ways to boost her up.
Yeah, she rocks. Also, she's like literally leaping off of the Great Wall of China in this picture. She's the coolest thing that's ever been.
She's going to be played quite a bit, and she's going to, I think, particularly for the first few weeks of the expansion, just like blow a lot of people out before they are playing around her. Like, especially with that new small Mulan, like now it's not just going into a be prepared turn that you have to worry about. You have to worry about going into the shift 5 Mulan turn as well.
Right.
Where you don't want to leave something exerted that can just be like bait for her and let her blow up your whole board.
Oh, she's so awesome.
She's really, really strong. I think Ruby overall got the strongest cards in the whole set.
Yes.
As a whole. I mean, like, there are just so many bangers here. Woo.
Yeah, Be King Undisputed.
I love
that was one of the
card.
early ones that stood out to us that we were like, what is happening here?
Yeah, just that Lady Tremaine effect on a song is so, so strong.
Crazy.
I love that. Goofy, super goof.
Oh, this peanut powers.
Yeah, potentially getting you a bunch of lore like immediately upon entering play and also controlling the board. Like that's going to go in a Mufasta list for sure. It's probably going in every Ruby deck, to be honest. Like he's just unreal good. Lumiere's pretty good.
Yes.
As a little 2-drop. Very interesting. Nice to see a Lumiere that isn't the 7/7.
Yeah.
Obviously, we talked about 1-cost Mulan. There are like 3 Sisus that are all pretty good.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, they're all pretty good.
Yeah, the legendary's pretty good. That wipes small characters on your opponent's side of the board. You've got the Sisu that gains strength for each card in your opponent's hand. So like just an overstated 3-drop. There's quite a few. I think the Namari's really interesting.
Namari's always pretty good. The Namari we have now is pretty good.
Yeah, she's just like always been almost there. And I feel like
Yeah.
people are maybe sleeping on the new one. Namari kind of has the same effect as Mulan, as the legendary Mulan. She is a smaller version where she's only a 2/3 and she only deals the damage to one other character, but you can still use a lot of the same strength boosting effects on her to control your opponent's side of the board. I think she could definitely see play with cards like Medallion Weights to support her.
Yeah, definitely. Excited for Ruby.
Yeah.
Super pumped.
Ruby's really, 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 really strong.
Okay. Our next dish. Ching!
Yeah, what have you got for a sapphire choice here?
Sapphire. So the sapphire choice was easy for me. I picked Seldom All They Seem. This card is so beautiful. It's insanely gorgeous. So if you've not had the pleasure, it's Aurora in the woods dancing with the owl that's wearing Prince Philip's coat and hat in the woods as she sings Once Upon a Dream. But in the reflection, it's her dancing with Prince Philip. Like, good afternoon. Put that on my wall. I want that more than I want the bell art. Like, I need that. That's so beautiful. I'm not even the biggest Sleeping Beauty fan. It's just like, I think it's great. So it made me think of a Mickey candy or caramel apple, those ones that you see in the display cases in the bakery on Main Street, USA. And they look so good. They look too good to be true. Delicious. But I will warn you, these apples are seldom all they seem. They are very hard to eat. They're beautiful. But if you attempt to carve into the whole thing while walking through a theme park, this thing is rock hard. I've had these before. Delicious, but they are rock hard. And they're filled with chocolate and candies and tasty marshmallow ears and tasty chocolate buttons and blah, 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 blah. So if you put in all the effort and you eat all that sugar, you, much like the effect of this card, will be given -3 attack this turn. It will be very hard to get through the day. I think it's a great card. I think it's pretty. I think it's cool. I think I want to put it in every single deck. Do I think it's good for playing the game of Lorcana? No. But do I think it's going to go in every single deck I ever play? Yeah.
Just to look at it. Just on the off chance you get to look at it.
Yeah. Will I buy another Mickey candy or caramel apple in the future? Yes. Is it a good idea? No. But I'm going to do it.
A beautiful card that's not worth the price of admission.
No, it is not. It's not. And that's too bad because it is really pretty. But it just doesn't do like anything.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay. Those effects don't tend to work that well in Lorcana. It's just not that kind of a game. You know? They don't do well. Maybe that's just me.
No, I think that's definitely true. Or like you have to, every single card you play is so valuable in Lorcana because it's also a resource. It's something we've talked about in the past, right? Where like if you're going to play a card, it has to be to a point. And if this card isn't giving you an absolute blowout trade where like you get to keep a bomb character and your opponent's losing a bomb character, then it's not worth the trade, right?
Yeah. And sometimes you can get away with not as great cards in Sapphire because you have so much ink. And some decks, you know, with Sapphire, especially if you're playing some kind of a bell deck, etc. I just still don't see any way that this is necessarily a good move, even if you have 20,000 ink.
Yeah.
I still don't know that you would necessarily want to spend it on Seldom All They Seem. What'd you pick for a Sapphire card, Brett?
So here's a card that I think has been overlooked. It's a little easy to overlook. So I was thinking about this card as being kind of like a steak at Le Cellier in Canada, in Epcot. It's easy to overlook, but it's really, really good. It's basic, but it's really, really good.
Right.
So this card is Triton, Champion of Atlantica.
Ooh.
He is a 9-cost inkable, 7/9, quests for 3, Floodborn and King. He shifts for 6. And he has the ability Imposing Presence. Opposing characters get -1 strength for each location you have in play.
Wow.
Now, I think that pretty much everybody I've seen has given this a like pretty lukewarm review. You know, has put it in like the C tier or the D tier and been like, oh, it's not going to be good. I think that this card could be awesome. As a build-around card, it could be excellent. Up until now, Sapphire has been relying on characters in other colors to ramp into and help swing the board.
Yes.
So this is a really interesting in-house option for Sapphire to ramp into a payoff for getting up to 9 ink or shifting with 6 ink.
Most definitely.
And I think that as it is, there are decks that want to play McDuck Manor and Agrabah and maybe like RLS Legacy or other locations and rely on those locations to propel you to victory. Like there are location-based Sapphire decks that are already on the verge of being playable. And when you are able to reduce all opposing character strength, you make those locations so much more likely to stick around. Giving your opponent a blanket strength reduction is so much better at protecting your locations than giving your characters plus strength.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think you're so right about this. I think people don't respect locations or really see the benefit in them like this. And this could be a card that helps them kind of get off the map, helps them pop off a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I mean, just consider a single McDuck Manor with this card, right? So it used to be, I mean, without Triton on the board, 2 5-strength characters could take out McDuck Manor.
Sure.
Right? Triton hits the board. Now you need 3 of them, right? Or maybe you could have 3 3-strength characters hit McDuck Manor, right?
Yeah.
And now you need 5 3-strength characters with just one location on the board. Now let's say like you're able to drop Triton and a Bayou and you already had McDuck Manor, say. Now all of a sudden you need a 5-strength character to clear the Bayou, and you need an 11-strength character to clear McDuck Manor, or you need 3 6-strength characters to clear McDuck Manor. Like, then you're basically saying, okay, you need to have a tech card, you need to have Rise of the Titans or whatever to remove some of these locations. I just think that blanket effect, if you're able to land that, if you can ramp up and haven't lost the game yet, and you can play a location in Triton, like, you are on your way. He is potentially can dominate the board. I think he's somebody that you're going to be able to scoop up on opening weekend for like cheap, and I'm going to make sure that we have a play set of him because potentially that kind of blanket debuff is potentially game winning, I think.
Yeah, he rocks. I love him. I think that's a great choice.
Going out on a limb with him a little bit because I haven't really heard anybody talk about him super positively, but I just think that he's being slept on a bit because he's not like flashy.
Yeah, I think he rocks. I think you're so right with that. I mean, overall, I think there's some cool locations coming to Sapphire too that can also help to boost him. I really like the look of Winter Camp.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's so story driven.
Mm-hmm.
There's also 2 Annas.
Finally.
2 Annas. What? I almost picked Anna because I'm just so happy that she exists in Lorcana more than just one like stupid card that doesn't work with anything.
And both of them are good. I think both of them will see play.
Both of them can be used, which is so exciting. 2 more Olafs, like some Frozen love here. There's another Hans too.
Yeah, the Hans is really, really strong. The Olafs are pretty cool.
Yeah.
And oh my goodness, the item deck. In general, like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
The other Triton that banishes an item to gain 3 lore, that's an awesome closer. You've got that Ariel with Ward who can have 5 lore and Ward if you have more items than your opponent. Like, oh man. So some of those item decks are also looking super, super, super strong.
Yes. Yeah, so excited about that.
So Sapphire, I think, some niche cards, but some really flavorful cards. So I'm wicked excited for Sapphire.
All right. Now let's move on to our final portion of the dish here.
Yeah, our last nibble.
Now this portion of the dish looks like it's metal. Looks like it's all made out of metal.
Yeah, it's edible silverware.
It's like steel. What'd you pick for your steel card, Brett?
So, you know that feeling that you get like when you're about to leave a Disney World vacation, you're kind of bumming and you're like, oh, I want like something for the plane to remind me of the good times we had.
You mean the depths of despair? Yes.
Yeah. And so like you'll go into a shop and you'll grab some of the Goofy's Candy Company candies.
Oh, yes.
For the plane, you know?
Yes.
It's your that's your one last hope.
Oh, I love that. That's true.
So One Last Hope is an uninkable 3-cost song, and it says chosen character gains resist +2 until the start of your next turn. If a hero character is chosen, they may also challenge ready characters this turn. So it's this great way to take out your opponent's characters before they're able to quest. It's a great removal piece. And there are some cool combos you can do where, if you're able to ready said hero character, then you can, especially with the resist 2, likely challenge multiple opposing characters in one turn and take them all out.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. I think that's a great card.
Yeah, and I just like effects in the game that allow you to remove characters before they can quest. I think it's something that's unique to Lorcana, where the characters, once they're out for a full turn, generally they can, unless they have Reckless, just quest and get those points of lore without any interaction from you. There's no blocking, right? And they also can't be interacted with while they're not exerted. So I really enjoy the effects like this that allow you to attack ready characters. I love it on Cinderella Stouthearted. And I love it on this song. Yeah,
it's really cool art too. Some nice Hercules art. Hercules getting a little bit of love in this expansion too, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, some of those Megaras we didn't really talk about, but they're really cool in Emerald. So yeah, definitely some Hercules love. How about you? What have you got for a steel card? One final card to highlight here.
Woo! Okay, one final snack to pick. So I have chosen Mickey Mouse Playful Sorcerer. So Mickey Mouse Playful Sorcerer is a 5-cost inkable 3/4. He is a Floodborn hero sorcerer. He quests for 2. He shifts for 3. He has resist +1, and his ability is Sweep Away. When you play this character, deal damage to chosen character equal to the number of broom characters you have in play. Pretty cool. He works with the brooms. I believe in the brooms forever. I love his ability. I want to use him forever. He's only a rare, so I have some high hopes that he'll be used in decks and I can actually see him and we'll get him in things. He is so sincere and so classic. That art is so classic. What he does is just nice and classy. It makes sense. You see him and you're like, oh, he's probably going to work with the brooms. He does. He does a nice thing with the brooms. He makes your soul happy. He makes your stomach happy. Much like a Mickey's Premium Ice Cream Bar. Now, I hesitated with comparing this to a Mickey's Premium Ice Cream Bar because I feel like we compare things to Mickey's Premiums all the time. But we compare them to them all the time in the same way that people talk about Mickey Mouse all the time. It's great. You know what I mean? No one goes around being like, oh, people are always talking about Mickey Mouse too much here at Disney World. You can't. It's impossible. Like a Mickey's Premium is perfect. Many a time in my life, I've been blessed enough to have a Mickey's Premium bar at 10 a.m. at a Disney theme park because you can do that. And no one makes fun of you for it because there's no rules. It's the best thing that could ever happen. It's classic. It makes you happy. So does Mickey Mouse Playful Sorcerer.
It makes sense to me because you've been on the broom train for quite a while. I think from
I love the brooms.
The first time we had how to start a deck and we opened Sorcerer Mickey, you were like, I want to play the brooms. I just want to make a deck full of brooms. And so every single time a broom card has been revealed, it's been exciting for you in particular. And so I'm happy that you get to play with this very, very apropos Mickey Mouse card.
Yeah, I love him.
He's got a new shift target in steel, which is really nice. The standard bearer, the 2-cost Mickey.
Yep.
So the shift could be relevant. And, that's a worthwhile ability. Even if you only have 1 or 2 brooms out, just having a nice piece of removal in the deck is really nice. Resist 1, good stat line. So I think there's no downside to this card. He's just a really nice all-around fit for that broom deck.
Yeah, no downside, like a Mickey's Premium.
Love it.
Overall, how are you feeling about steel?
Not the most exciting to me, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not. We were both looking at these cards when we were picking them, and we both kind of looked at all of them and then went, oh, right. I guess that's it.
A lot of duds. There are a couple of exceptions. Donald Duck is an amazing card, and I can't wait to play with him. Is he going to be great? I don't think he's going to be great, but he's going to be really, really good in the deck he's good in, which is a pirate deck, obviously, where he can rush in with Jolly Roger and immediately boost up some of your other characters. I think Philoctetes is a great card to go in a hero deck with Thebes, So there's some winners. I think LeFou is a card that will definitely see play.
Art too. Yeah, I think Ling and Yao are fun characters to see. Their abilities work really well with their stories. Like there are definitely some positive cards in Steel. The brooms, like we were saying, more brooms all the time. Always, please.
Yeah. I'd say looking back now, looking at all the colors, if I had to like rank them in terms of which colors got the best cards for constructed Lorcana play.
That's fun.
I would say, and this is like on average, right? Because like I don't want to just look at the top ends. I want to say across the board, which colors were the most impacted. I'd say Ruby got the best cards. I'd say Emerald got the second best, then Sapphire, then Amethyst, then Amber, and then Steel.
Yeah.
I'd put Steel at the bottom. And that's just because I feel like, their legendaries aren't the strongest, even though I love them both. And I think there are some duds in there. So
I agree. I think that's a fair ranking.
Yeah.
I'm really, again, like I said, my resolution is to play more Ruby. I'm really excited by the Ruby cards.
Yeah, they look really, really cool. And you've always really liked Ruby. You just have, for whatever reason, haven't always ended up playing the Ruby decks.
Yeah, well, a lot of my favorite characters are not in Ruby, so it makes it tricky.
Changing with Mulan, though, getting a Bond legendary.
Yeah, I'm really excited. What color are you most excited to play with?
I'm also really excited for Ruby, but I'd say Sapphire is the one I'm most excited for.
I mean, also getting a lot of cool stuff.
I think that there's a really cool Little Mermaid item deck that I'd want to play with Scuttle and Ariel and Triton.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
Wow. Well, I am pretty stuffed from that meal.
Yeah, let's hit the road. Maybe grab a mint on the way out the door.
All right. Thanks, Francois.
Bonsoir, madame. Thank you for coming again. It was always good to see you.
Always good to see you, too.
I hope you have a tremendous evening and that we will see you again very soon.
Yeah, and hey, check in on Helga for us.
Yes, I have not seen her, but I'm sure that she will be all right and she will be here to wish you a good appetite on your next meeting.
I'm still a little suspicious about them.
What?
Suspicious about what's going on here in the restaurant.
What do you mean? I didn't notice anything.
Well, it's like Francois and Helga have both been really weird tonight.
I didn't
notice
that? No. Did you get a mint?
I did. Look at this mint that you made. I have not really seen this mint. I took a brief glance at it before. What have you made for us today, Brett?
Well, this is a new Amber Dream card.
Ooh!
It is Launchpad McQuack.
Yes! I love Launchpad McQuack. He's so good.
He's hilarious. He's so funny in the new DuckTales in particular.
We will never stop selling the new DuckTales. It's only great.
Yeah. So anyway, Launchpad is a 2-cost inkable character. He is a 3 strength, 2 willpower, Dreamborn ally. He quests for 1. Pretty standard stat line so far.
Yeah.
He has 2 abilities. The first one is, if it has wings. If it has wings says, you may move your characters to any location for free.
Which is awesome.
He has another ability. I can crash it. I can crash it says...
After one of your characters moves to a location, deal it 1 damage.
This is, by the way, this is Launchpad McQuack crashing a scooter is the subtitle.
Yes, and the image is him definitely about to crash a scooter. And the flavor text here says, I'm a pilot. It's an incredible card. I love how this works. I love that, much like Launchpad, it seems like you're going to get a really big benefit, and then you don't die, probably, but you do get a little dinged up.
He gets you there, but you get some bumps and bruises along the way, right? I'm excited by it because I feel like there definitely needs to be some more location-y, synergistic cards to make them worthwhile. There are so many cool locations that you want to chuck characters to, but it's not worth it given the cost to both play the location and to move them there. So here's a character that you can thump down on the board. He'll get all of your characters wherever they need to go instantly, right? It's basically like, for most of the locations in the game, he says like, you pay 2 cost and that's it. You don't have to continue to pay the cost over and over again. I think he'd be really good with cards like Fang,
Yes.
Move all of your characters to Fang instantly.
Yeah,
RLS Legacy.
He'd be great. I mean, he'd be great with any locations. He'd be good to play in a Sapphire Amber deck with some Triton business going on there, some big locations.
Sure.
Make a little monster of a deck.
Yeah. I think he's really good, decent stat line, nothing too crazy, but he would facilitate some location-y hijinks.
Yes. May this please pressure Ravensburger into making a Launchpad McQuack.
We need a Launchpad McQuack
we
for
need
sure.
it so bad.
Thus concludes another feast at the Smorkana table.
Yum. So tasty. I hope you all feel full. I hope you all feel quite sated.
I hope you're stuffed to the gills on juicy content.
On some juicy Ursula tentacles.
Have you ever had tentacle
No.
octopus? Oh, it's very chewy.
Like calamari?
No. Like, honestly, like I don't know what I would compare it to, but it's just insanely chewy. Like you really got to
Ew.
work to get through it.
Yucky.
But I've had like charred tentacle, and like it tastes good. It's really interesting. I don't think it's not like gross. It's
Yeah.
It's just very, very chewy.
Huh.
Yeah. Anyway, so what have we got coming up? We're going to enjoy the last few days of the Inklands meta.
Yes, we're going to play our decks as they are now. We'll always remember them in this state when they were so young, so Inklandsy. We'll attempt to figure out for once and for all if it's really Inklands or Inklands.
Maybe we'll like have a little mini tournament this week, and like whoever wins
Yeah.
gets to name Inklands or Inklands.
Maybe we will. We'll keep you all updated on that.
And then, of course, we have the release of Ursula's Return coming up.
We've got a countdown on our fridge right now. It says we're only 5 days away. When you're listening to this, I bet we'll be even closer.
Yeah,
It might have already come out by the time you listen to this.
We've got a box reserved, at least one booster box.
Yep.
And we're going to try to scoop up the co-op set, which is super exciting. We'll try to scoop up a trove as well. And then we also have at least one event that we're going to.
Yeah, we're going to a sealed event. So excited on Saturday, the 18th.
And if we're feeling really ambitious, maybe we'll hit up another one next weekend too.
We just might. I can't wait. I love sealed events. I can't wait to see all the new cards and try to make a deck. Like, I think it's just going to be a blast. I cannot wait.
Yeah, so enjoy and wait with bated breath over these last few days before the next set releases.
Woo! We'll be there with you.
In the meantime, as ever, you can follow us on all of your favorite social media platforms. We're on Twitter at Smorkana.
We're on Instagram at Smorkana.
We're on Facebook at Smorkana.
We're on Google at Smorkana. We're on YouTube at Smorkana.
Everywhere at Smorkana. Smorkana@gmail.com if you'd like to get in touch with us.
Yes.
And if you made it this far, please do consider giving us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening. It helps us to show up when people search for a Lorcana podcast.
Yeah, and keep entering that giveaway. We love hearing from all of you and the S'more awards that you loved the most.
Until next time,
Keep on snacking.
keep on snacking, y'all.